to your left, Antonio.
What? Perfect timing, sir. Perfect timing. Welcome once again to another thrilling episode of the Fandom Initiative. We've got a really great and exciting show. Let me introduce this gentleman, and then I'll have a quick thing to say. And if you know me, you'll probably know where I'm going to go with this. The man across from me, this man with the hat and the blinds that I cannot take my eyes off of ever for some damn reason. This is the cinema CEO. He is the cinema god. He is also one half of the tag team champions of the world, along with Lady Mina. And they are the tag team duo of the AMC A-listers. But Lady Mina also has a podcast called Mina and Mawa Politicking for the Culture, and she is the cinema empresso. I don't know why I say it like that, but it just feels right. It just feels right. This is Michael Williams.
What's up, y'all?
How you feeling today, brother?
I'm good, brother.
All right, man. This is gonna be a packed show.
Absolutely.
Myself, I am the hungriest man in the room, and you can take that however you want. I am the hungry bleak hashtag dark star hashtag never more. If you know, you know. I have a separate podcast called the Hungry Bleak Podcast, and I also have a weekly segment on the Zion Network on IG. I go on at about 6:15, but the show starts at 5, so watch it all. It's really great. Thank you to Sean and Alan. I am Antonio Pomares, and this is the Fandom Initiative. Welcome to the fandom.
Yep.
So before we introduce our guest, I want to say this really quick. This is only going to take a couple of minutes, folks. You pretty much know me. So there has been a horrible uptick in the hate crimes against the Asian community. It seems like white supremacists, they love to do musical chairs with the groups that they want to focus on that particular week. And the thing that I want to say is, fuck white supremacists, fuck white terrorism, fuck homegrown terrorism, fuck it all. Okay? Stand up. Don't take any shit. Know that you matter regardless of the color of your skin, who you choose to be with, who your heart calls out to, what have you. You matter, and you don't have to take any of this shit from these, I don't even want to say amoeba or anything like that, because then it insults them. The amoeba have done nothing to equate them to these horrible, vile creatures. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. Fuck white supremacy, because it's some dumb bullshit. And that's it. Show support. Show love. All right?
For real.
That's basically it. Y'all already know. Okay. So on that note, I wanted to say that because you guys know how I am, and you remember last summer we had a few shows where we just decided to go completely off and just let the shackles loose. That has not changed. The name has changed, but the attitude hasn't changed.
Nope.
Okay? Thank you.
Same energy.
Exactly. Continuous energy. So now it's a beautiful Saturday. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's have some fun. Okay, folks? Let's do it. So today we are going to be talking Falcon and Winter Soldier. Spoilers alert. Okay? Spoilers alert. Spoilers ahead. Spoiler alert. Okay, and we're also going to be welcoming on a guest that I'm going to bring in a second. This gentleman is a writer, creator, action figure enthusiast, which I dig. I love seeing people like show figures that they have or what have it. It's just kind of cool that, because everybody has a particular passion or part of the fandom, Michael, that they love to show off and such and collect. So
Absolutely.
Without any further ado, the gentleman that's going to be coming into the room, this is Marvin Wynn.
What's going on?
Oh,
Sir.
I'm here.
welcome, sir. Welcome.
I made it.
This, for those that don't know, this show has been a year in the making, and I'm not joking.
Yes.
He was supposed to be a guest when everything finally happened and the world just shut down. He was supposed to be a guest on our previous show, the Strange in the Membrane podcast.
Mhm.
And I felt horrible for canceling on him. And then a year later, and I wanted to make sure. So he actually messaged me like a few months ago, I think, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm still, if you want to still do this, let me know." I was like, "Yeah, don't worry about my, still got your mind. Don't worry about you. You're still in my head."
Mhm.
And then I was like, you know what? This is like a really good time to do it right now. We're having on a few guests. Hopefully we can do this. Cross our fingers.
Mhm.
I'm like, hopefully he's not like, nope. You had your chance a year ago, suckers. And he was like, yeah, I'm game. I was like, oh, thank you for your patience. Year-long patience. That's like some crazy patience right there. But Marvin, thank you. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good today. I mean, the sun is shining. It seems like it might be not a fake warm Pittsburgh day like it was yesterday. So, I mean, it's what we in Pittsburgh here where the sun shines. It's like a trap. It's like, oh, come outside, and it's like 30 degrees. I'm like, what? Stop that!
Yeah.
And it seems like it's not that day. So I might open the windows and let some air in today,
Nice.
later today.
Nice.
So that'll be good.
Yeah, like I'm not sure how it is. Like here, it's 52 right now. So I was actually outside a little bit earlier, and I mean, the same thing here in Jersey. The sun's out. I'm like, no, nope, that wind chill going to jump me. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But went outside, and it was actually nice. I mean, like a jacket, obviously, something like that. But it's a beautiful day. Go take a walk in the park if you can after the show. Take a walk in the park. I don't know. Maybe an ice cream man might come out by later if it warms up enough.
You hear those bells ringing, like, oh, ice cream man.
Look. Ice cream man be diabolical. The minute it's like over 50, all right. Yeah. You see my keys, baby? All right, bet. Yeah. Get the Nutty Buddies. We about to run the streets. So that's it. So let's jump into Falcon and Winter Soldier. Again, folks, spoilers ahead. This is the latest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe extended, I guess could be the way to say it. Where first we had WandaVision, still processing that. Damn, great. This might be a little bit, and again, I don't talk down to people. This might be a little bit more inclined with what people know from the MCU because this takes place actually. This is supposed to take place actually a few months after Endgame. I love these two interacting, Bucky and Falcon. I read the latest miniseries and I loved it because it's like a buddy cop. Actually, I'll actually post the meme or like goofy picture that I saw earlier this week. I sent to Michael the other day where it was like a Lethal Weapon mashup, and it was Bucky Barnes and Sam, and it was Nick Fury was like the captain that always yells at the cop. How can you can't do it? The city can't afford it. You're not gonna be a loaded weapon on my street. The dude always have to yell. He got to be yelling from you. Get in my office. You know what I mean. So I was so in for this, and they went there in a few moments I wasn't expecting. You can tell that they are the stars of the show. You can tell that this is going to be a show that's going to actually hit some topics that are prevalent, and we see backstory. We see more of their lives going on. Marvin, as our guest, what did you think of this first episode?
Oh, I thought it was excellent. I really liked the digging into not only the past for both characters, but what it meant for them to have disappeared for 5 years, and how not only did it just affect them, it affected the people around him, and having to look at Sam and the way his family is dealing with trying to run a small business with a boat that's leaking, and his sister trying to get out from under it, and he won't let her. And I think that goes with his. I think Falcon is going to be one of those characters that is gripping onto something too much. And I think that's leading to why he gave the shield up. It was a lot to do with his family.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, the way that I love, and this is almost a callback because we never actually got it. We might get it in Black Widow, but we don't know when we're going to be getting Black Widow exactly.
Yeah,
but this is almost like a callback to I got Red in my ledger.
Yeah.
Which I've been talking about. I've wanted that story for the longest time. Tell me about the Red. Give me a movie with Hawkeye and Black Widow. I know people, are kind of iffy about Hawkeye, but I think their interaction was great. Yeah. That whole spy community and stuff like that, and everybody crossing paths, but maybe not knowing each other at the time. Yeah, Sam's whole deal of him. I definitely think that is a good point of him hanging on, especially when he gave up the shield. I was like, well, but we know there's going to be like this character arc, this journey for him to figure out who he is, because he's been the sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
But to see Winter Soldier kind of grow out of the sidekick thing, but Sam is still kind of holding on to it.
Right.
You know, Michael, sir, run it.
I love what I've seen so far, and you know, Marvel does a really good job of sort of laying like seeds of groundwork, even in their movies, for what this show could possibly be. Right, like you have the whole callback, even at the beginning of the show, to, you know, him getting the shield from Cap. And that whole moment, because that whole moment, it resonated with me watching Endgame in maybe a whole different level than maybe most people. Because, I mean, I know that both characters, both him and Winter Soldier, at some point have the honor of wielding this iconic shield, right? But I didn't think that they would even go there in Endgame. You know, I thought it would be like, oh well, you know, Cap's been fighting for Bucky this entire time. Why not just give it to Bucky? You know what I mean? I'd almost resigned myself to it being Bucky, as far as the lineage of who's going to get this particular iconic thing, right? And then for it to kind of be the situation where it's almost like Bucky and Cap had a conversation already that was like, it's going to be Sam. You know what I mean? It's gonna be Sam, and they both agree on it. And the way it's executed at the end of Endgame is it's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful moment. And then for it to kind of lead into this series the way it has, where, you know, Sam is kind of feeling the pressure of and the enormous responsibility of wielding the shield,
Right.
and things like that. It's just so well done, and I love already kind of the things that they're doing with, you know, with Bucky. Like this whole idea that Bucky feels like or wants to go down this journey of making amends for all the pain he's caused people. You know, and seeing a therapist to work out his stuff. You know, and it's just I'm excited for the next 5 episodes. This first episode is amazing, and you know, Anthony Mackie should not be worried about this being a series that's going to be a letdown after WandaVision. I don't think it is. I think it's different, and I think it needs to be different than what we've seen with WandaVision. WandaVision was a rare thing. Like, I don't think anybody thought WandaVision would hit the way that it did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think Anthony Mackie needs to be worried at all. I think the action set pieces, even in this first episode, were amazing. And I think just kind of where the story is going is it'll be more than enough.
Yeah, and I think that you had when you were talking about how Sam was the right man for the shield. I mean, that's actually a callback to First Avenger when Dr. Erskine tells Steve that he's a good man, and when he says that to Sam's like, "You're a good man." That's where you're going with where you want that shield to go. But to just that final scene of that episode when John Walker comes walking out with that shield in his hand, and you just get that look on his face of not just anger but fear, and like someone just ripped out his heart and kicked it across the room.
Yeah.
Steve Hayner, thank you for being with us. Steve says Sam has some big shoes to fill. Yeah, he does. But Steve also saying that he believes he can hold the shield, and I think at the end of this we honestly need to see that. I mean, honestly, we need to see that moment.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to be a hugely cathartic moment for a lot of us, especially seeing how the story is starting, and we're seeing little threads of, being passed over.
Yeah.
Like you said no, but then you see the guy that they picked for the
Mhm.
position that you said no for, and you like, I know y'all lying. I know you lying. And like even when you see John Walker come out,
Mhm.
and if you know the comics, but John Walker is a jackass. But they picked the perfect guy to do it, because every time I see this actor, and I don't know him personally, and I apologize for you saying this, but every time I see him, I want to mash his face into like a mud pie.
Mhm.
He has that face, so they picked the perfect actor to do it.
Mhm.
But I
Brad,
mean, that's where you land with the John Walker character. Like you said, he's
Yeah.
a jackass, but
Mhm.
he's also the complete opposite of Steve Rogers. He's that
yes,
he's that angry guy that's going to crush anyone that comes into his path. And like he is, and it's funny that he is one of my favorite Marvel characters is John Walker because of that he's just not Steve Rogers.
yeah,
And I remember when he first took up the shield and he's fighting Flag Smasher, and Flag Smasher goes, "You're not Captain America. Captain America doesn't do that. What you're doing right now." And
yeah,
it's just that thing that's saying that, yeah, I'm not Captain America. I'm better than. And he's like, I'm better than Captain America. And he just wants to fight, and he's angry all the time. And I can see why a lot especially when his parents are killed. It flips a switch in him, and it's just a different character than you're going to be used to when you're thinking about the person carrying the shield is now a violent psychopath.
Yeah.
Brad is saying they enjoyed this more than WandaVision, and again, I can totally understand why people would think that, because it was, like Michael was saying, it's a totally different show.
Yeah.
But here's actually a really great one, and yeah, this one hits hard.
Yeah.
So John saying that was such a betrayal to say the shield would be in the museum and then give it to someone. Yeah, you could. Yeah, because again, and Mackie has that type of face where he can show like there's something going on, or he has like that I know something but y'all don't know. Like, but he showed this moment of like, again, let's be real, 3 black men. We've had this moment where we like, I know you fucking lying. I know this did not like, and and to say it's going to be in there. It's going to be. But then again, I mean, it's you. If you know, and I think after everything that he's been through and being blipped, and he's coming back into reality, and he got all the stuff going on back there, he forgot how sometimes the government can be. So, yeah, that having that be the last moment of the episode was just like oh well, now I gotta see what's gonna happen next week. I want to see how Sam reacts. I need to see what Sam does. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for that one, John. Now, that was a great point of that one. I'm excited to see who else is going to be coming. Like, who else is there? I want to see Agent 13. Missed her. Emily Van Camp.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you. I still need to see that show that she was on called
Revenge.
Yes. I think that's on Hulu or might still be on Netflix. I don't know, but I've heard great things about it. I just never got around to seeing it. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see Zemo.
Yes.
Daniel Brühl. Brühl? I hope I'm saying your name.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that because he was one of the best parts of Civil War to be behind the scenes. And then how does he react to the new Cap? And how does he react with Winter Soldier? That whole their history and everything like that, and him getting him out of that cell and everything. I'm genuinely excited. Like, this has been a really good week. I haven't seen people arguing as much as I'm usually expecting it. So it's been a really cool week for geek stuff.
I mean, I think we need to bust that down and just realize that there is so much material out there for everyone. I mean, there's no reason to complain about anything. If you don't like it, turn on something else, because flip the channel, because there's something else that you want to like there. There's everything is here at your fingertips. Let's try to enjoy it while it's there, because this is the stuff that when I was younger and I would start reading comics that I wanted to see, and now it's here, and I'm like, yes. Like it took years. It took 30 years to get here, so let's enjoy it.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but if you are going to complain, at least have like some type of constructive criticism and go, oh, this scene I wasn't really into because of like, to have like healthy debates, because I see healthy debates. So I'm like, oh, they both have good points. They brought this up. Didn't think about that. But when you're just like, I didn't like it, it sucked. Oh, why didn't you like it? Nah, I just didn't. And you have nothing. I'm like, okay, so you're just doing it to be angry.
Yeah.
You just need to be heard because you've been inside for a year and you haven't had any interaction.
Right.
So I'm just gonna wash my palate of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make a sandwich and I'm just gonna chill. Cool.
Yeah.
But this was supposed to release before WandaVision, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
In hindsight, I think this happened. I mean, obviously, I did not want what happened to happen, which is why everything happened with COVID. But I think releasing WandaVision first and then doing this felt better. Like it honestly felt better. And I don't know, again, because of the movie releases and the timelines of how they're going to release them, not like the timeline as far as the MCU, it felt better to do it like this. Like give us something different, totally out of nowhere,
Right.
and then give us something that we're more used to.
Yeah, I think it gives. I think it gives Falcon and Winter Soldier momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus, maybe people just feeling like, that if it was the other way around where, Falcon came out first and people love that, and then we go straight into WandaVision and then people are like, oh, what's going on? We don't know what's going on with the show.
Yeah.
It's very.
Yeah.
It was a very calculated but very smart decision on the part of.
And I think it came down to people being pent up about the MCU because you didn't have anything for a year.
Yeah.
And what actually might have been a good thing to them, because all I heard from a lot of people was, oh, after Endgame, I'm done. I'm not interested in those big players that don't really do anything. Steve and Tony Stark are gone. Why should I enjoy this or watch this? And then you get all that pent up energy, and then WandaVision drops, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm back in." So whatever you got to me, let's get to it because I'm in fully again.
Exactly. Steve Hamer, Hayner, apologize. 6 episodes. I hope they can tell a great story in that short run. I think they can do it. I'm gonna one up you, Steve. I know they can do it.
Yeah.
They told us a great story in WandaVision in 4 episodes. Honestly, I mean, truthfully, so they definitely can do it. I have total faith, obviously, and then I mean, at this point, it's almost automatic for them to tell great stories because they have a great backlog of stories and history, and the way they do little twists and little things like that to change them. Yeah, they're definitely on point with it. Also, want to give a shout out to Irene. Thanks, Irene. Shaolin in the house. Thank you, Irene. Appreciate that. I know I'm gonna pay for that later.
Yeah, you sure are.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, just just pray that I can find a neck brace big enough for how full my neck is going to be later on today. So don't worry about it. But I'm excited about it. We're going to be talking about this as weeks go on. After the show, we will do a retrospective on it and talk about the whole thing because WandaVision was how many? 9 episodes. Which I guess if you think about it, kind of adds up to 6 because some of them were only like less than a half an hour.
Right.
So I mean, it kind of adds up to 6 because that first episode, that premiere night, they debuted 2 episodes. So it balances out. I was kind of hoping that they were going to do 2 episodes last night. I was feeling greedy. Not gonna lie, I'm a grown ass man, but I was feeling greedy. I was like, oh, so let me get to that episode 2, bro.
Oh, you got to get over that Anthony Mackie facial expressions for a week, man. You just can't jump right into another.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, he's like, come on, man. What are we doing here? You got to wait on that one. You got to let that process for a week before you can get back into that stuff. You got to give it some time to mellow out on that facial expression before we get back into it.
Yeah, but I'm genuinely excited. I was actually going to say this earlier, but I'm going to say it now. That the way they do the structure of the MCU is like the comics, and I don't mean like story time. I mean like format wise, because these series are like how in comics a character will get a 6-arc miniseries or its own solo run series. This is how they're doing it, and I love when they do that because you get more detail. So this character who's been in the back because you have the Marvel Holy Trinity of Iron Man, Thor, and Cap. Sometimes you could throw Hulk in there if you want to go 4. But I like this. I like having this these stories because you can get more depth, more everything, more storytelling, more world building in these miniseries and adds into it. So I'm excited for these series. I want to see what's going on. Yeah, and we definitely were being, I think, drowned in MCU, as Marvin was saying, that people were saying before, how there was a lot. There was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So I was happy that there was a year that we didn't get anything. And then to be thrown into it and jarred into it with a 50s, 60s sitcom is very jarring. But you know what? Kind of like how somebody might feel when they came back from the blip. Kind of jarred. Don't know what's going on.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Marvel.
I mean, they've done a really good job of putting us in these people in their shoes and making these over the top situations seem normal to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
We feel like that. Oh, there's a bunch of guys running out there with red hands on their masks and just wrecking things up. That could happen, and like you thinking that, wow, can I go outside right now and throw a frisbee and have it come back to me? Maybe I could. I'm going to try that later and see what happens. But I mean, it's just those things about the series of movies and shows that it's like it's the old Marvel mantra was the world outside your window, and I think that the comics have kind of lost that over the years, but the MCU has embraced it fully.
Literally in WandaVision, when they look out the window, Marvel, I see you. I mean, just call me, baby. I'm in Jersey. I will take a train and go to New York. You know I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's cool. Last one. Steve is saying Invincible. Yeah, bro, don't get me started on Invincible. Bro, don't
do that too.
Don't get me started on Invincible. One of my favorite. It's like tied with Noble for my favorite superhero comics. Honestly. Oh no, this is gonna be the last one actually. Yeah. So there's that.
This guy. I will come and see you in the hospital every day, brother.
Yes, I will. But you know it's all love, so thank you very much. Cinema Impressor. Thank you. So let's get into Marvin. What have you got going on? You have The Edge, which is this really great world that you tell us, because you're going to have more passion for it than I am, and I love it.
Right.
Hit it, brother.
So for those that don't know, The Edge in stores this coming Wednesday, issue number 1. I mean, it's been a journey with this book, and basically it's just a story about a drug called the Edge that gives you abilities, but as you use those abilities, it begins to drain you. You get infected, and then it's over with. You're done with. So we've got a character called Revenant, who is a former soldier, assassin for the government, who goes rogue with the secrets of the Edge. And his former handler, Tartable, decides that we can't allow that. So he forms a strike team to go after him and take him out. And it's just a game of cat and mouse between them and just finding out who's going to come out on top. But the one thing that we're doing is we're not telling you up front who the good guys and the bad guys are. We want you to try to decide on that. So we give everyone a little bit of are they or aren't they? I mean, is what this guy is doing maybe wrong? Is it right that people need to know about this stuff? And why is Tartable sending multiple people after this guy? And these people have these abilities they can't control. They can't. I mean, it's not a muscle memory. You can't remember how to use these abilities. So there's going to be times where powers don't work. They work in ways they're not thinking they're going to work, and things just get crazy really fast.
The thing I love about it is, I mean, there are a few things I love about it. One of the things I love about it is that I'm big into character design.
Mm-hmm.
I love to see how a character, moves, the weapons that they carry, the way their hair is parted, their outfits like that. How were you influenced by that? Because I'm always curious to know how someone like decides to go, okay, I'm going to have you wear this color or this suit, what have you.
So I would put that all on Mark Louis, the artist of the character designs. I mean, I had some basic ideas on how the character should look and their attire and their hair and things like that. That all goes to him. And I think the only thing that I really wanted to change was Blaine's hair. You see that in the beginning of the book, he has the long hair, and I wanted desperately to get rid of that, so we burned it off in that first issue, and then we go with the midpoint, and it just resonates so much with me with that pointy hair that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and he's just rocking it, and it just works.
You know what? Sometimes you just have to make those changes, but it's a nice compromise between the two of you. So I dig that. I flow with that. What influenced this story? Like what got you to create it?
I would say, I mean, it's a lot to do with the world presents itself to me in the way I see it, like through the eyes of others and the eyes of the media, that things are always changing, and things change in ways that you're unexpectedly going to know, and that we are not say a generation, but a world of people with differences, and those differences lead to challenges. So it's all about the challenge that I want to present to these characters and putting them into situations where, how do I solve this with these powers? How do I solve it without these powers? And like, I don't want the characters to be based around their powers. So there's going to be situations where we're just going to like take the powers away from a character and then dare him to get them back.
Awesome. Brother, do you have any questions for Mr. Wing here today?
Yes, the character of Interim, is that,
yes.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
There's that one panel that it's almost like it's scorched into my brain now.
Yeah.
Where she's fighting, but she has like these, and excuse me if I'm getting it wrong, these like portal circles around the entire group of people that she's fighting.
Yeah.
How I guess I want to ask, how did you come up with sort of the baseline of what her powers would be? And I don't know, like that particular panel to me was very kind of cinematic, and I could completely see that kind of playing out in a movie, in a packed movie house, and people seeing that scene and everyone going in a collective "oh" at the same time.
Trying to show it, but the light's not really hitting there.
Yeah.
Trying to show it all.
While you're doing that, let me actually let me find that page, and I'll talk at the same time. Yeah. So what we were going for on that one was, we were trying to show that she's trying to find a way to use her powers in a way that makes sense to her. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like she can use these portals to see a little further in time, but she can also step through them. So not only is she using those portals to punch and kick people in the face, she's ahead of them, so they don't even see it coming.
Right.
So we're trying to do a lot of mixing of media on that kind of stuff, and just having a lot of fun with it. But the one thing that I want to caution you about that with those portals is that while they're good for her now, later on it's going to be a detriment, because let's just say that she's been opening these portals since she was 6 years old, and some of them aren't closed, so they're still open.
Oh, okay.
So what we're going to play with that later on is that where she's from in Brazil is 24 hours ahead of the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
And also those portals are open on both sides, so something could actually come through the portal also, as well as her going through it all as well.
Ah, okay.
So that's something else that's going to come up later, and I'm trying to find the color of that, and it's in like too many draft folders is what I'll say, what I've got here, with a lot of stuff in it. I think it's in this one, but so I mean, and then that's one of the things that we want to do with this book is to show the differences in these characters and what's going to happen with them as we move forward. So everything is going to be up in the air as far as what goes down with in the book later on, because things are set up And the way that I'm writing it, I'm not going to do origins until it makes sense in the story. So when I say that when we visit back with the interim later on, uh, it's going to make sense in the story and not just thrown in there to say, oh, we're going to beef up all these origins at the front when we can do it later, and it's more fun. Okay. So I found the page. So let me share my screen.
I like how the powers will have ramifications. Like it's not just like you use your powers and then that's it. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. That scene was
bananas. Just absolute bananas.
That scene caught me. I wasn't expecting that power to pop up. So when I was reading, I was like, oh yeah. And then I saw that and I was like, oh,
right.
All right.
Right. Yeah. I read it first and then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, she opened portals? I was like, what? Yeah.
Right. And it's just a testament to Mark Louis and his structuring, and that the first thing that we decided is we don't want to follow any rules. We want to break rules, and we want to have like weird panels, like the panels here where you're showing her bouncing through these portals and kicking these guys' asses, is that they're not straight or anything. It's just it's giving you a little bit of what these guys are feeling, because the panels are actually flowing to where she's knocking them to. So you see this guy's getting knocked down, so it's pointing down. This one's going to the left, this one's going to the left, and this one's going back up. Where it's just having fun with that stuff as you go, and not being beholden to rules that other people have created in the past.
Yeah. It was the idea of portal, because it's the ideas of portals and having being able to actually space and time. That's pretty much what you're fooling with that. But to just say that, well, some of the portals are still open. She's been doing it since she was 6. She didn't know how to close them at that time. Or maybe 6-year-old they forget their toy is over here. Right. So you have these powers, you use them like sometimes like a little toy, because you don't have that maturity. You don't know not to do that.
Yes.
So having little things like that are what add to great storytelling. Yeah. Little breadcrumbs that you're trailing, like maybe something happened later, maybe not, what have you. But just remember this in X issue, what have you, which is awesome.
Right.
Now you're going to be having an upcoming project, which is going to be coming up, and can you tell us about that?
So, so as we build on the Edge, and right now we're on issue 14. In the penciling and scripting stage, we're going to go back a little bit to after issue 4. There's some stuff that I want to fill in there, so we're going to do a story that's right now tentatively called Adrenaline Rush, which is going to feature Blaine, and Blaine is going to come to my hometown, Pittsburgh, where one of the characters from the first issue has got his hands on a untainted vial of the Edge, and then he's going to auction off to, let's say, the criminal underground, which then is going to prompt a response by not only the U.S. government, but other governments in the world sending their own agents to try to procure this Edge. Then later on, we're going to do a story that takes place between issue 9 and 10. That's going to be called Angel Wings. So this is going to be basically a deposed general doesn't have any soldiers under him anymore, and finds that he believes there are WMDs in Dubai. So he's going to recruit his former team to go into Dubai and find these WMDs. The little slick on that one is that all these soldiers are disabled and have cyborg parts that they've replaced. So they're pretty much beholden to another factor of either you're in or you're out, or you lose those parts. So that's a little bit of the there's that movie where they would give out organs and then take them back if people didn't pay. So
Repo Man?
Yeah, Repo Man. Yeah. So we're going to play a little bit on that. And then we're going to find out that these WMDs aren't weapons; they're people. So while this general was going in there another strike team is going to be formed through little through coercion and a little through bartering and blackmailing, similar to a Suicide Squad, to go in and stop them. And we've got other factors at play there that are going to come in and mess up that whole thing up. So, and then after that, there's one that I've been itching to do for a while. It's going to be my Superman type archetype character called Sigma. The difference is that this guy has PTSD and he refuses to fight.
All right.
Interesting. Interesting.
So what ends up happening is someone comes knocking on his door asking him, why are you not in this fight? And he goes, I can't. And he gets anxiety when he hears sirens. And he can't suit up as a hero anymore because he's been doing it for so long that it's just gotten to him to the point where he can't do it anymore.
Okay. See, now I can dig. Yeah. I love how you're having like actual ailments and such play a role in what these military personnel have gone through, as far as like, you know, the limbs and the PTSD, the things that we hear little bits about, like little whispers about, but not full on, and we don't really see it in comics a lot as well. And comics is a great medium to tell stories,
right?
And to bring real life things into stories. Right. And this is something that we don't see a lot.
Yeah, and I think that one of the reasons that I do it is that I think that we as a world really need to address mental health, and that's one of the things that is a lot of driving points in these stories, is that the mental health of these people who are out in this world with these amazing gifts and abilities that they don't know anything about. And it's not just how they can save people, it's the destruction that's going to cause, and how everything in the book escalates from one point to another, where it's just more and more and more and more. And seeing how these characters deal with that, because it's like you're still a human being, even though you have a fabulous ability, you're still a human, and you have emotions and feelings. And what happens when you get beat down to the point of, I just want to quit, I just want to walk away, and you can't.
Yeah. I mean, the only time we've really seen that on that I can say truthfully, and on a grander stage, is Hulk in Infinity War and Endgame, where the actual Hulk persona was like, no, I'm not coming out. So yeah, having that and mental illness, and not just trying to make it seem like not like everyone's, you know, like just out there just being a maniac, but having the real things and how it affects them, how it affects their powers, how it affects their ability to try and be a hero.
Right.
You know, that's very commendable. And it's a great thing to add in, because you want to try to mix in some things there along with the fantasy and the fantastic things that these people can do with their powers, but then say, you know, at the end of the day, can't sleep in the bed, he has to sleep on the floor because he spent so much time not being inside.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a real thing to them. You know, like little details and things like that. So outstanding. Definitely will be on the lookout for that. I'm excited about that. Excuse me. Oh, and Michael, if you have any questions, please, sir.
Yeah.
Jump on in the pool.
Yeah, Marvin. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners, you know, what were some of the things, you know, when you were a kid that kind of influenced where you are now, like movies or books or anything that you read that kind of resonated with you and made you say, you know, I can do this. I want to do this. This is the thing I want to be in.
Yeah. So I think it starts off with the Saturday morning cartoon blitz, where you had your G.I. Joe and you had your Transformers. And then a show came along called Robotech.
Yeah.
And for the first time on the cartoon, you were faced with death. And not just once, multiple times, where they killed characters off. And you didn't have that in those other cartoons. Like in G.I. Joe, they always parachuted to safety. It was lasers, and no one really got hurt except for Duke and he always went into a coma.
Right.
Even,
Damn.
yeah, even in the movie,
Yeah.
after because you remember the G.I. Joe movie came out after Transformers the movie, and
Yeah,
Transformers the movie had that death where
Yeah.
you kill
Mhm.
Optimus Prime,
Mm-hmm.
and people lost it. They're like, you can't kill Optimus Prime; he's the hero. We can't kill him. And in G.I. Joe the movie, according to Flint Dille, the original script had Duke dying. I mean, this guy took a poisonous stake to the heart, and he says that if you don't listen to the soundtrack and you turn the soundtrack down and don't listen to the dialogue, you can tell that he was dead. And the fact that they couldn't go through with that was kind of striking because they had to change it just because of it, because people didn't like the Optimus Prime died. So you put this guy into a coma again. You would think the guy would probably have some serious brain damage for how much he spent in comas over the years on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just those driving points when you go from G.I. Joe Transformers and you look at Robotech and how mature it was for that time, and it was so different than all the other shows out there. And you're like, all right, so you got this Roy Fokker, he gets shot, his plane gets shot up. Later on, he's with his girlfriend and they're talking, and he just collapsed, and he's dead. And the next thing they're like, oh, Roy's dead, and you're like, Roy's dead. Roy can't die. He's the hero. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, then they kill off Ben, and you're like, all right, so this is for real now. This is for keeps. Some of these guys aren't going to make it out of this show, and it's different than those other shows. So that it started there, and then I got into the comics, and then it was Captain America, it was Avengers, it was X-Men, but then the '90s came along, and it was X-Men, it was Jim Lee, it was Claremont,
Mm-hmm.
it was X-Force, it was Raphael and the other guys, and then Image. So you had these guys that took their destiny into their own hands. They felt they were being handcuffed with Marvel and DC, and they said, okay, we can do this on our own. And it was a testament to just will, to like a Green Lantern ring. They willed that Image into existence. And I was sitting there reading these books, and I was like, man, there's all this other stuff out there that's popping up in the '90s, and this is before the crash. And you're thinking that, man, you can do this. This is something that can be done. And after the crash, I mean, I had to wait a while, and I had to get my energy back. But I mean, that's the origin of the Marvin Wynn, and the origin of the Edge is that just seeing someone else being able to take that challenge on and do it was just a signal to me to say, try it. I mean, what can you lose with some money?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we seem to be in like a resurgence of it as far as comics go, and indie. But they were like the first like ones to just say, you know what? I mean, as far as like big ones, just say, you know what? We're gonna just have this band, and we're gonna do this. And that was, God, what, like 30 plus years ago?
Yeah.
I want to say.
About, yeah.
Damn. I was in high school. Jesus. Just thinking about that makes my back hurt. God,
Right.
yeah. Wow. But to see how everyone now is pushing their own.
Yeah.
There's so many indie creators, and you can tell that it's a big thing because the bigger companies, your Marvels, your DCs, are going and they're like, oh, you know what? We see what you're doing with your book here. We want to see, can you do this? Can you do?
Yeah.
Can you write for this? Can you create it? I mean, we have Naomi. The DC book is going to be on. It's going to be a CW show, and it's going to be showrunner is going to be Ava DuVernay. I want to say she's showrunner.
She's showrunning?
I want to say showrunner, or she is like a major part of this.
Yeah. Wow.
Showrunner, possibly. I have to double check that. But I mean, seeing something like that and the evolution of the business is just a beautiful thing. If you could, I'm gonna ask like one of the usual interview questions because you know what the hell, might as well do something a little corny. So whatever. If you if you could take 3 characters from any company, You know, you can Dark Horse, Image, Boom, Marvel, DC, what have you. You take three characters and write either their own series or incorporate them into, you know, the Edge.
Mhm.
What three characters would you go with?
I would probably grab Captain America. I mean,
Okay.
I love Captain America. I mean, because he stands for something,
Okay.
and I've liked that. Besides him being Hydra at one point in time, that he's always been that character that the other characters look to for not only support but leadership. And there's the one scene in Spider-Man where he's given a speech to Spider-Man about standing next to a river like a tree and not moving. And when someone tells you to move, you say, no, you move, because I'm standing here and I'm righteous and you're not. The other one, I would probably say Captain Atom. Captain Atom is one of my favorite DC characters. He gets absolutely no respect. I remember a couple years back when they threw him over into the Wildstorm universe and he destroyed the Wildstorm universe. And it was always the character that always was on the back burner. There was a time when he was teaming up with Major Force and Major Force kicks his ass. And then he shows up in Justice League with all these bruises on his face. And one of the, I can't remember which character it was, is like, should we ask him about the bruises on his face? Like, it's like disrespecting this character continuously. Why does this guy have bruises on him? What happened to him? And it's like, I just wish that he could get marked up and get into a movie, Captain Atom. I would love to see that. And and then the other one would be Grifter. I mean, he's the character that resonates probably the most with me from Wildstorm, and I was so glad that they brought him over to DC proper. And you'll know that you see that he's the emplate for Blaine.
Yeah, and he was in the DC Future State.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of what title he was in, because it was him and it was Luke Fox. Like kind of like it almost reminded me of Quantum and Woody a little bit.
Yeah.
Their banter. I'm trying to remember. It may have been Next Batman or Dark Knight. I can't remember which series it was that they had for the DC Future State stuff. I'm totally down with Grifter. That he was just I own the Wildcats
Yes.
the DVD box set. I don't care. I'm a grown ass man and I'm gonna admit it. Like I honestly watched that. I watched Skull Warriors. There was another one that was part of Malibu Comics Prime, I want to think it was. So I watched those because they were different. They weren't the Marvel and DC stuff. It was something different. And it was comics I saw in a comic book shop that I was like, oh, this is different. This is something new. So for you to say Grifter hit me in a spot because I loved watching him in that cartoon, seeing him actually be there, and the mask that doesn't kind of make sense, but it's still really cool. Like, how does it stay? Like, it's basically just a bandana, but it's still really cool.
Right, and then you see when some artists draw it tight, like it's a mask, like it's like, how does that work? It's just a rag. How does it tighten? What's going on here?
But the funny thing is, like, it's just a bandana at first, and then it's Ultraverse. Thank you, Steve. Ultraverse, yes. He has his band, and then like when it's time, he just pulls it down like a curtain, and I was like, the most low maintenance.
Right,
like suiting up ever. Like he can't, like Cap can't say suit. Oh, you've already got it. Okay, cool. I guess he's waiting for us. Okay, cool, great, great.
And then a pair of khakis and a t-shirt.
I mean, that's it. And then the dirty coat, and he's got his guns with him, and he's always strapped. So I mean, he really doesn't. I might have to actually go back and watch those now. To be honest with you. All right.
I mean, I like everything about that show except for that theme song. I'm like, is this the most 90s theme song you've ever heard in your whole entire life? I mean, and then it breaks into the rap, and I'm like, oh man, come on, this is not going to be good in 10 years. It's going to be so
I'm going to be going on YouTube later and sharing that to Facebook for no apparent reason at all.
So, and if I could throw a fourth one in there, it's Backlash. I mean, that was another.
Oh my God!
And I am continuously on Twitter bugging Brett Booth about that character.
Mark Slayton, right? Was his name?
Yeah. Yes.
Damn. Oh wow. Yeah. I have those issues too. Oh, shit. Yeah. All right. Cool.
And also, and he had the whips.
Yes.
And you notice that we have a character that has whips, so it's like It's like those books influenced this story so much, and I just, it was just so much fun. Like it was having fun with comics, and then you had all the interconnectedness where you had the Team Seven and the Team One and all that stuff in the background.
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap! And then you find out that Backlash was a cherubim like Spartan and all the others and things like that later on in the book. You're like, holy crap! There's just so much here, and then it all just went. It's just, it died so fast, but before it even got like ramped up for it.
Yeah, that comics bubble was just, but nobody knew at the time. I mean, it was just because it was perfectly 90s. It was extreme, a lot of pockets, wild hair, scruff. Everybody just like it was just everything. Nobody had feet. Not pointing out anybody. So, it was just, the bubble kind of made sense for the 90s. But now, like sometimes I'll go, man, I hope it doesn't bust. I hope this is just like a continuous, like it's just. But everyone's so consistent, and everyone keeps leveling up their game. And even when the world had stopped, indie comics were still going. They were still like, I mean, they're not putting anything out, but I mean, I got my own distributor. I got my public habit. I'm good. Got PDFs. What do you need? Go to my website. DM me. Like I saw people hustling so much and garnering so support. And I've seen you. I like have just been killing it lately. I mean, going to shops, and you've been posting up so much. I'm like, oh, Marvin is like, okay, so I guess I'll just take these weights off and I'll just start doing what I got to do now. Let's go start. All right, we good, which is awesome.
And I mean, and that's the great thing about the indie community is that it is a community, and we're all out here trying to serve and help each other. Just like we've got Herrenberg here in the chat. It's a buddy of mine, and we do cons and things together, and we're trying to start this movement in Pittsburgh of revitalizing the comic thing. I mean, the comics in Pittsburgh is huge, and no one knows it because it's just something on the back burner. It's not like it is in California or in New York where the artwork is everywhere. Like it's so distilted, and we're going to do our best to try to let people know that. I mean, we're out here and we're hustling and doing these things and trying to create this community of having fun and with these books again, like it was in the 90s.
Awesome. Well, and I see that Steve and Herrenberg. That's I hope I'm saying it correctly. I am. Oh, thank you. Is your home store the Comics Crypt? Yes, it is. Yes, it actually. How do you know that? Who is watching me? Who sent you? Give me a name. Who sent you?
Where's the broker?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a weird question. They are my home shop as far as Jersey, but there's a shop in Brooklyn that I love also called Anyone Comics. I consider them both my local comic book shop. Doesn't make any sense, but it does to me.
Yeah, we're down with Anyone already. But I mean, the reason why he's asking that is because he's going to contact that store and try to get his book in the store. So that's how we do it, man. We
do it.
We use all the resources we have because I mean, if people don't know about it, I mean, how are you going to get it in someone's hands? We got to be able to contact these shops. We got to contact the retailers. We got to contact our fans. We got to get everything out there just because we want to have fun. We want everyone else to start having fun again with books.
Exactly. That whole the whole communication between everyone, and I love seeing more and more everyone starting to network and hey, how about this? You do this, whether it's shops or whether it's creators. I definitely dig that. The Comics Crypt, they are a great bunch of people. I love going over there. Like I said, it's near me, and they are really great. Yeah, give them a call, email them, what have you. They're open to do stuff, and they're just a great bunch of people.
Yeah.
On that note. I wish I was. This is the type of day where I would be in New York too, eating. I would have been meeting Michael up for a show, and we would have got some of that great Chinese food across the street.
It'll be back soon. I mean, I understand that this virus is a deadly thing, but we can't hold people down this long. It's not going to happen. I mean, eventually people are going to flip out and have to get out on the streets and do stuff because. Like I was saying before, is that because we've never addressed seriously mental health. Now you're telling people they can't go and do the things they like for a year. It's not going to be pretty.
And I mean, it's been better than what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm so glad that when it did start, everyone was saying, you know what, check on your friends who have mental health, make sure that they're taking their meds. So there were people that I would like message every so often, and because you can't get the nuance of someone's voice in a message. Obviously, I mean, you could call them, but I don't like talking on the phone.
Right.
I'm surprised I even have my damn face on the camera, which is crazy. That I would say, look, I'm not trying to please you. I'm not trying to, you know, what have you, but I just want to make sure that you took your medication, whether it was for a physical ailment, but just as importantly for mental ailment, to make sure that they were good. And people were responsive, and they were like, oh, thank you. You know, I didn't think you were trying to do it because I know how you are. I'm just like, look, I'm just trying to make everybody as good because there's a lot going on.
Right.
There's a lot going on and a lot not going on. And that's true. But I feel we're on the right path. So
maybe just have to look out for each other. That's all.
Yeah. And near future, you know, we'll be, you know, in the same place at the same time, breathing the same air with mask or possibly without mask. But you know what, we're going in the right direction. So that's the important part, everybody. So on that note of positivity, that's it, man. That's it. This has been Marvin Wynn.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Where can they reach you so they can get a hold of your product, sir?
I am at The Edge Comic on Instagram and Facebook. I'm always willing to talk to anybody. If you want to just send me a message and shoot the breeze, I'm fine with that. On Twitter, I am at Marvin Wynn. I am right now in the midst of trying to actually create a Twitter following. I mean, my Twitter is pretty low. It's under 1,000. That's shameful. Because I'm over 1,000 on Instagram. It's shameful that I'm just now creaking up to 700. But also this coming Wednesday, I'll be going live on Facebook from New Dimension Comics. Also that same day, I'm going to start the Edge newsletter, where we're going to have some secret stuff that I'm not going to post on Facebook or anywhere else for a while. And also issue number 1 of Edge dropping on the 24th, along with the other titles for Second Sight Publishing. And it's just time to have some fun and enjoy life.
That is awesome. Nice. I love that. Michael, any last words, sir?
Be good to each other. Continue the upward trend of being good to each other. Stop Asian hate, most importantly. And I don't know. Hang in there.
That's it. That's all we can do. Thank you, everyone who has been a part of our show, whether you like, subscribed, shared, or in the comments. I love it. Just awesome. I'm still learning how to really use StreamYard, so that's why I'm putting up people's comments in there, just because it's fun. It's honestly fun to see that just pop up, and want you all to be a part of it. You know, so thank you, everyone who was a part of it. My last words are always the same thing. You pretty much know it. Do the best you can with what you got, because it's all that you get. Don't be a dick, and don't be a cunt. That's really it takes 1 minute to not do something. You know how much harder it is to do something than it is to just go, yeah, you know, whatever.
Whatever.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You know.
Right. I want to say thank you to everyone who came out to the chat today. Appreciate it.
Yes. I will be dropping the links when the video processes for your websites, your IG and such like that, and also along with the podcast version of the show, which will be releasing tomorrow afternoon, if not Monday afternoon. On that note, this has been Marvin Wynn. Thank you very much, sir, for being a part of this.
Marvin. Thank you.
This was like the longest storytelling arc of anything. Like this was more. This was a longer epic than damn the MCU did with the Infinity Saga. Holy cow! Wow. This gentleman here is Michael Williams.
Yes, and this gentleman here is Antonio Barmeras.
Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of it. Eat something tasty. You know what I mean? Just do it. Run it. Go in your kitchen right now. Start boiling some oil for some fried chicken. That's it.
Get that General Tso's chicken.
Get that oil popping. Get that oil popping. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a good one.